John Smith was a brilliant scientist, working on a cure for a deadly virus that threatened to wipe out humanity. He had a loving wife and a beautiful daughter who supported him in his noble quest. He had a bright future ahead of him until the day everything changed. The virus escaped from the lab, spreading like wildfire across the globe. Within weeks, millions of people were infected, turning into mindless, flesh-eating monsters. Civilization collapsed, leaving behind a wasteland of death and destruction. John managed to survive, thanks to his immunity to the virus. He watched in horror as his family, friends, and colleagues succumbed to the infection, becoming the very creatures he sought to cure. He was alone, in a world that had gone mad. He wandered the ruins of New Metro City, scavenging for food and water, avoiding the hordes of infected that roamed the streets. He fought for his life, every day, every night, hoping to find a way out of this nightmare. One day, he stumbled upon a radio, still working, broadcasting a faint signal. He followed the source, hoping to find other survivors. He was not disappointed. He found a small group of people, hiding in an abandoned warehouse. They were led by a young woman named Sarah, who had a knack for leadership and survival. She welcomed John into their group, seeing him as a valuable ally. John felt a surge of hope for the first time in a long time. He found a new family, a new purpose to live. He also found something he had not expected. He found love. Sarah and John grew close, as they faced the horrors of the new world together. They shared their stories, their dreams, their fears. They comforted each other in the midst of despair. They kissed, under the starry sky, feeling alive, feeling human. But their happiness was short-lived, as a new enemy emerged from the shadows. The Alpha, a monstrous creature, the result of a mutation of the virus. He was stronger, faster, smarter than the other infected. He had a plan, a vision. He wanted to rule the city, and he would stop at nothing to achieve his goal. He attacked the warehouse, with a horde of his followers. He slaughtered the survivors, one by one, with his claws and teeth. He was unstoppable. John and Sarah fought back, with all their might. They used their weapons and skills. They killed many of the infected, but they were outnumbered. They watched, in horror, as their friends fell, one by one, to the Alpha's fury. They were the last ones standing, the last ones alive. They faced the Alpha, in a final showdown. They knew they had no chance, but they refused to give up. They fought, for each other, for their love. The Alpha lunged at Sarah, aiming for her throat. John reacted, pushing her out of the way, taking the hit. He felt the Alpha's teeth sink into his flesh, tearing his skin, his bone. He screamed, in pain and rage. He grabbed the Alpha, with his remaining strength, pulled him close, in a deadly embrace. He reached for his belt, where he had hidden a pair of hand grenades. He smiled, a final smile. He yelled, "Sarah!" as she watched, in shock and in tears. "I love you, Sarah. I always will. Remember me. Remember us. Live for me. Live for us." He pressed the pins, activating the grenades. He hugged the Alpha, tighter. He closed his eyes, as the explosions ripped them apart, ending their lives, ending their fight. Sarah survived, miraculously. She was thrown back by the blast, but she was not harmed. She was stunned. She crawled to where John and the Alpha lay, in a pool of blood and fire. She cried, for John, for their love. She was alone again in a world that had gone mad. She ran, away from the warehouse, away from the pain. Through the streets, through the city. She ran, until she reached the tallest building in the city, the one that had once been John's workplace. She climbed, to the roof, to the helipad. Hoping to find a way out, to find a new life. Sarah was lucky. Miraculously, she saw a helicopter flying over the city looking for survivors. She waved desperately. She was seen by the pilot and was saved by fate. She boarded the helicopter and escaped. She left the city and flew to a new place, to a new world, to a new future. Sarah was unbearably sad. She missed John, her hero. She mourned for him and for the others. She lived with his memories, with his words, with his legacy. She was pregnant with John's baby. With hope she felt a new life, a new love, a new reason. Sarah was the last survivor, fighting for hope, in a world of darkness.